Hydration is key. And when it comes to body water, here's why. It has inositol in it, which is good for your brain. It has niacinamide in it, which is excellent for your circulation. And just the water itself is excellent for your internal organs and your joints. It has 7 grams of carbs, which is excellent for your energy source while you're working out. And it has each and every B vitamin that you need to remain energetic. Body Aqua. Be bold, be brave, and be only daring to yourself.
And you're live with Alvin After Dark, brought to you by BMW Freeport, located at 291 West Sunrise Highway in Freeport, New York. Please visit the service department at 100 Cleveland Avenue in Freeport, New York. Also, friends of the show is BIG, Belize Independence Group. Also, FSADB, Friends Support Diocese of Belize. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We got a lovely Kim. What's going on, Kim?
Hey, I'm back.
You definitely are. You definitely are. You know, we have a lot going on this evening. We have a very remarkable show, and we've been talking about it for the past
Changing it up a
couple
little
days.
bit.
Changed it up just a little bit, just a little bit. First, before I get into the full topic of the show, I want to welcome you
You're
back.
supposed to say the meat and potatoes.
This meat and
That's
potatoes.
your infamous line. You gotta stick to the program.
Yes, the meat and potatoes part of the
exactly.
show. And yes, the meat and potato part of the show. I got stuck just now. But briefly, I gotta give a big shout out to Erica Jordan, who week before last, she came in. She came from 2 hours away. We were supposed to have a full panel. Yeah, Erica Jordan, who's one of our biggest viewers, she came from 2 hours away to help co-host the show. And I was supposed to have a panel full of women of color talking about the whole hair thing. So Erica Jordan, if you're listening, I sent her a shirt. So thank you. I sent
This
her.
one?
No, I didn't say her that one.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about that in a minute.
Yes.
So I sent Erica a shirt, and this should say thank you. And Rico gave me a free life hat. I'm wearing my Being a Me hat tonight. As you always say.
Patrick, we missed you.
Yes, we definitely missed Patrick. He's supposed to be here. Also, our guest co-host, Michelle Marie, is supposed to be here as well. And she had some traffic problems. She just could not leave. It was so much traffic. And I said to her, you gotta, do what you got to do, and it's much
Safety
safer
first,
for you.
yeah.
Safety first. Patrick, we don't know where Patrick is. Well, I know where he is, but
bowling.
we can't say where he is exactly.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
We don't know
He's
where.
home sleeping.
Yeah. He's home sleeping.
Exactly.
But we have a very serious show tonight.
Definitely a change. I mean, not that our shows are never serious, but this is definitely a very important and serious topic.
It's a very, very important, serious topic. Once again, so, the young lady is supposed to be here, Michelle Marie. She should be calling around 11:10, 11:15, but she wants to share her story. And we have a surprise, as you can see, Me Too. So we're all about the Me Too awareness, and the Me Too movement is about women who have been a part of sexual misconduct, who have been raped, and who have been in that position.
It's a deep topic.
Exactly, big, deep topic. And she's going to, because she couldn't be here, like I said, it was all about safety first, and it was tough for her getting
weather,
here.
Yeah, the hair.
It was crazy.
It's a bad hair day. The weather was horrible today, so.
Definitely. And once again, if you're viewing, please share this page on your page. If you're viewing from Michelle Marie, please share this page on your page, her page. Big shout out to her. But we got some pictures coming up, and we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna talk about it, the meat and potato, and after really reading the stats on sexual misconduct, rape, and what people have gone through, it made me be more aware. So we're supporting the Me Too movement. I'm so kind of disappointed in a way. Not disappointed, but I wish you were here, because we have a shirt for you, Cheryl. We actually have a shirt. We have a white shirt for you to support you in awareness of the whole Me Too movement shirt. Whole Me Too movement. We got some stats here. We have a lot to talk about. But first, briefly, we got some pictures I want to put up. But first we'll talk about, that one right there is fine. NYPD officers plead guilty to rape charges. I know you were looking it up earlier. I forgot their names, but allegedly, supposedly what happened was these two NYPD officers had an 18-year-old girl in custody, and I believe they found drugs and other paraphernalia on her and her friends.
Did they?
Yes,
I didn't see that.
Well, that's what they had on them, and with that, they took the young lady after the boys had said, because Funk Flex was going in. So they escorted the young lady to a Chipotle parking lot, and she supposedly, allegedly, performed oral sex on her. On that.
Right. They said that what would she be willing to do to get out of this arrest?
Exactly. So
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Right.
So the bad part is, the men that we look to protect and serve us, and women, have been in that position to take advantage. And you come back to me, LA, and you know, it was sad because she's 18 years old, and those officers didn't realize that this young girl who's 18 years old went straight to the hospital and got a rape kit. And allegedly, she went and got a rape kit, and their semen, both their semens, was found in her mouth. So, it's crazy. Real quick, shout out to Shaniqua Bryant, who's watching from Houston, Texas. What's going on? Bridget Shepard, who's watching, and it's also Bridget Shepard's birthday. Big happy birthday to you, Bridget. And I know you turned 25 all over again. You definitely looking. Happy birthday to you.
Me too.
Definitely.
I'm turning 25.
So everyone that's on, I can't see who's on right now, but whoever's viewing, shout you out who's viewing.
I have a few. I have Maudie, I have Lisa, I have Giselle, I have Yvonne. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for staying up late.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Supporting us, and don't forget to share on your Facebook.
Yeah, and once again, like I said, Cheryl should be calling in, and she'll be calling in, and she'll be on the phone with us. And we also can do a follow-up show next week, while because it's going to take more than an hour.
Right. It's a lot. It's funny because we were saying earlier when we were talking about this topic about sexual misconduct in the workplace, and she actually has some experience in that too. She says she was fired from 2 separate jobs because of the fact that the sexual harassment was just out of control and she wasn't willing to sleep with her boss. And, it's just terrible. But at the same time, it's like, like I was saying to the girls outside, what makes me uncomfortable may not necessarily make someone else uncomfortable. And where do you draw the line? If the guy is good looking, are you okay with him being a little extra with his hands or a little extra with his comments as opposed to somebody who you don't think is attractive? It's a lot of kind of
in between.
Yeah, there's a lot of very gray areas.
Yeah.
And the only way to actually put a stop to things like that is for it to be completely not done at all. But the reality of it is that we all have a flirtatious nature. It's like you have a very flirtatious personality, and it's completely harmless.
Yes.
But it's just that's just who you are. It may or may not make other people uncomfortable. Like me, it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable, but perhaps to someone else. So how do you determine what makes someone uncomfortable and what doesn't? Of course, rape is completely different.
Exactly.
That's a completely different scenario, but it is, as far as that type of behavior, where do you kind of draw the line? Like, what do you do? Like, I'm not uncomfortable with anything. I mean, there are certain things, obviously, that I'm uncomfortable with, but most things don't bother me. A man can make a comment whether he's attractive to me or he's not. He can make now, when it gets to be borderline disrespectful, then I would be like, okay, enough.
Erica just tuned in. Erica Jordan. Once again, Erica Jordan, I got to thank you from the bottom of my heart, since you're on for 2 weeks ago. You came in. You came 2 hours away.
Thanks, Erica.
You co-host the show with me. It was supposed to be a panel of women. So thank you again. Thank you. And you received the shirt and hat, from Alvin After Dark. So I'll talk about my new shirt, T-shirt line that I'm going to try to launch. What's the next picture we got there?
Ooh.
So, you know what? Those are pictures from Halloween. So LA's. So you keep showing me.
Hey,
That's fine.
Floyd.
That's fine. Those are Halloween pictures. So
But we can talk about
we
it.
can talk about it. Jay-Z.
This was dope. Jay-Z
yes.
and Beyonce. Those were dope
are Halloween
costumes.
pictures.
Yeah.
Go straight to Harvey Weinstein. That's fine. So the big thing right now is the new accusers is Harvey Weinstein sexual assault back to the 70s, and it seems as if this is a trend that's going on in not only Hollywood but in the workplace. But you know, he's been a part of the situation about the Me Too movement, and it's kind of saying that women are saying enough is enough, and people are coming forward. But we're gonna talk. Like I said, you know, Ms. Marie will be calling in a few minutes, and we're gonna talk. But we're gonna actually read some stats to you.
Yes.
So we're gonna start with first.
So let's talk about 50 facts about rape.
Okay.
Okay. So low estimate of the number of women, according to the Department of Justice, raped every year 300,000. High estimate of the number of women raped according to the CDC is 1.3 million. Percentages of rapes not reported, 54%. Oh, that's probably her calling.
Definitely.
Hello.
Do I answer the phone?
We're new in the studio, people, okay?
You're live with Alvin After Dark. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Cheryl Marie.
Hey, Cheryl, what's going on? How you feeling?
Hi.
Well, first, Cheryl,
Good.
do you see the T-shirts?
Hello?
Are you there?
Oh, wait, man. I'm having a little technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Yes, we hear you.
But did you get a chance to see the T-shirts we have on?
I do. I love it. It's the same logo from when I made that original post.
Thank you. So I have one for you. That was our gift to you. So you have a white T-shirt. I'll give it to you next week for the follow-up show. But we want to, thank you for calling. Thank you for sharing your story, and and how it happened was, I met Cheryl Marie about 2.5 years ago via social media. Because I wanted her to buy a BMW from me.
Oh, okay. That works.
Of course.
and of course, we've always been in, we chime in, and when I saw her Me Too, and I read her story, I chimed in, and then we spoke behind the scenes, and I congratulated her for being so boisterous.
Yeah, because it says here,
Thank you.
percentage of rapes not reported, 54%. That's a lot. It's a lot of people keeping quiet and not speaking about what's going on. It's a lot.
And that's interestingly, she just mentioned that point. And interestingly, if you remember on my post, I did actually say that I did report it to police. They actually came to my home, pretended to take a report, and then never even filed it.
Wow.
So even sometimes when you do report it, they still like, whatever. And
up.
there was no report. I came back to pick it up a week later and was like, it never happened. I even tried to report one of the attempted rapes where someone broke in my home. So that was even worse. So that definitely set a tone going forward that nobody would take you seriously, and you're just
But that is the problem. That is the problem, because
exactly
a lot of people are afraid of that. A lot of people are, afraid of the backlash that they're gonna get for reporting a rape, like at their work, at their home, their friends, their family, because a lot of people will give you a hard time over this.
That's
like
right.
A lot of people may not believe you. A lot of people may ridicule you, stuff like that. So I get it, and the fact that you did and it wasn't taken seriously is like just crazy to me.
Now that happened when how old were you at that time?
I was about 16 years old, 17 maybe.
Okay.
Wow.
And they came in, they saw the scene where there was mace all over the home. It was clear something had happened. And see, part of the problem is the ones that you're reporting these incidents to, guess who they are? Men in power. So it's like, it almost is like there's a little club that men don't want this to happen to them, so they stick up for other men who do it, or they don't believe you. Or,
I think it's more that. I think it's more that. Yeah. Probably
right.
they
So you're
think
reporting
that
it to the people who might have done it
provoked
themselves. They
exactly.
So it just, I really felt like when Hillary was not elected, of course I voted for her. I thought we were really going to be in trouble, and we're really going to have to take misogyny into our own hands and violence against women sexually, because we know our president isn't going to do it. So, and I have seen a lot of people that are like us right now that seem to be taking this matter and making it so it is relevant, since we no longer have a president that's going to make it relevant. He's part of the problem.
Sherry, it's funny you say the president, and if you don't know, the president of the United States, there's actually a whole Wikipedia page. I think I sent that to you, LA. There's a whole Wikipedia page about. I'm gonna say it again. There's an entire Wikipedia page of the president of the United States and all his allegations of sexual misconduct.
Well, exactly.
There's a whole page on Wikipedia just for that.
Right. Not even for him being the president, just for his improper behavior.
And that speaks volume.
Of course.
And me as a man, do you remember when the Puerto Rican Day Parade had that big incident where girls were being sexually molested and sexual.
Listen, speaking of that, that's a funny that you say that. The year before that happened was the last year that I went to the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. I went to the parade as I always did, representing for Puerto Rico. I never forget, I had on an A-line denim dress. Nothing crazy. I'm cute, whatever, no problem. I got compliments. I can accept that. I went past, it was 3 girls, I went past a group of guys, and one of the guys went underneath my dress and grabbed and groped me. And I turned around, and of course, nobody had anything to say. And it just left such a sour taste in my mouth, and it just made me feel so disrespected and so violated. And again, I'm very, very comfortable. It takes a lot to make me feel uncomfortable, but I felt so violated. Like, really? Like, I'm here representing for Puerto Rico. I'm here celebrating with you, and this is what you do. And the following years, when they did that they started ripping girls' clothes off. It was hard. I thank God I never went back. My daughter has attended when she's marched in the parade, but as far as me going and being a spectator, absolutely not.
I want to share a quick story. It's not even a funny story. I was going to say funny, but a quick story. Years ago, I was at my parents', and I was at the edge of the bed when that happened. So the news was talking about how men were doing the groping and grabbing women at the Puerto Rican Day Parade or the Puerto Rican Festival. Now, I'm at my parents' house, and I'm watching the news with my mom, right? My mother took her hand, her open hand, and smacked the back of my back. And I was like, why did you do that? She says, she said, watching that made her so angry that she hit me.
And you were like in your teens, because I remember being at that time like 18 or 19
it was
when that happened.
Years ago. And I was just like, why would you hit me?
Because
she says, if you ever had done that, she says, I'm going to chop off your balls.
Yes.
And I'm telling
Shout out to Mrs. Peters.
My mother was, if you know Mrs. Peters, she holds no words back at all. And I have 3 sisters. I have nieces. I have a long line of female cousins. I have friends. And I don't want my female friends, to feel a certain way. As a matter of fact, me and my best friend years ago, Tim and I was at the Greek Festival, was popping off here in Long Island. And this young lady was dancing with these guys. Now, we're at the beach. She's in a bikini. She's dancing. They surround her. I say immediately to Tim, I said, this doesn't look good.
Right, this is the problem.
And what kind of got me was her girlfriends allowed it to happen.
Now, some will say, but she looked for it. Because look at the way she was dressed, look at the way she was dancing.
She's at the beach.
Look, you're at the beach,
But she's at the beach, right? So Cheryl, she's at the beach.
Right.
And you're at the beach, so you're wearing beach attire. They picked her up in the air. One guy's finger went in her. and then they dropped her to the floor.
Oh my God.
Tim was like,
and what did she do?
Well, what kind of pissed me and Tim off was the girls, two of her girlfriends were like, you're not going to help us? And it was about 6 or 7 of them. And I was like, y'all her girlfriends. If y'all not going to help her, I'm not getting stormed out by 20 guys. It'd have been different if they all had gone to help her. But no one went to help her. Not one of her friends. It's about almost 10 of them.
Dumb bitches would have got cut off.
It was almost 10 of them. And that
it doesn't matter. They at least cause a commotion. Go over there, show that she's not alone. That they can't do whatever they want. Make noise. Do something. Call the police. Do something. Just bring attention to it and make sure it's not happening over and over again at that moment. I mean, there's a lot of things they could have done.
Definitely. Cheryl, hold on 1 second. We're going to shout out to some viewers who are watching this real quick before you share your story. Janet is definitely on.
Hey, Janet.
Yvonne
Thank
is
you for
on.
your
Will
support.
Fredo, what's going on? Hey, Matt Dempsey, what's going on? Out of Mercedes-Benz and Massapequa, Giselle Lopez is on.
Hold on, but Giselle said that it's disrespectful, fake reports. What does this world come to? It's true. It's like she said, she tried to make a report. She tried to speak on what happened to her, and it was totally disregarded. So it's true. But it's true what you say. There's such a stigma when it comes to that things like that happen all the time.
Angel Toronto's watching. What's going on, brother? I see you. Nakia L. Mood. I believe this is also Nakia's birthday, too. Shout out to her.
Birthday.
Timothy Darks, he just got on. What are you talking about? We're talking about the Me Too movement.
And he said that was the last year he went, the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Good for you, Tim.
And we're talking about women who are part of sexual misconduct. So, but sure, I want you to continue to share your story. Once again, continue, please.
Yeah, we need.
Sure. I'm not even quite sure which one to start with because there was one prior to that, but the one that I did post about, and it's funny because they say it's usually somebody you know, and it is. It's rarely somebody who has never seen you before and just picks you out of a lineup. It's usually somebody that knows where you live, your whereabouts, knows your routine to a degree, and it's usually somebody like that. In the instance with the story I shared, I was like, again, 16 or 17. It was somebody I knew from around where I grew up. He and I had, interestingly enough, the first part of the story was this guy actually, I'm young. A date is like going to the mall. I'm like 17. We go to the mall.
Yeah.
So he has a car. I don't. That's how I know it was either just turned 17 or 16. And he, on the way back from the mall, he goes to his house. And I have no idea where we are. I'm very young. And he says, I want you to come in the house. And I'm like, no, I'm fine out here. And he literally came to the other side of the car, opened the door, and pulled me out and took me into his house. Like, oh, come on, stop playing. Stop acting like you're scared. And so here I am inside his house. No idea where I am, not the street, nothing. So... jeans have saved me about 2 times in my life from being raped. So when we went inside his house, after a couple minutes, he tried to rape me. And what saved me was looping my fingers through the belt loops of my jean shorts so he could not get them off. If it weren't for those loops, I would have been done. And then that gave me enough time to where apparently, I think it was his cousin, a female, an older woman, came in and she kind of like looked at him and looked at me and knew something wasn't right. What I did was I ran to the front door where I saw some mail, called my mother from the house phone and gave her the address where I was. And I said, if you don't see me or hear from me soon, please call the police. This is where I am. So he tried to rape me.
Wow.
I have a child that's that age, and I can't even imagine.
So let me,
something like that happening
I know
to her.
I know because you're a young lady now, and you're definitely older.
Yeah.
Say you're older.
I'm not gonna say your age,
a little bit.
but
But that was the first part of the story, and then he took it further. So after that, I said, I just want you to take me home. My mother knows your name, your address, and if she doesn't see me at home in 10 minutes, she's calling the police. And he looked at me, and it was priceless. He looked at me like, wow, you really, okay, you got that. That was a look on his face. Like he kind of shook his head like, all right, like you won this round. So little did I know, a couple months later, And this is the part of the story I shared on my post was my grandfather was outside mowing the lawn. So he had been stalking me for a while and waited for the opportunity to sneak in the back door when my mother was also not home. She had spent the night out. And I opened my eyes and saw him standing in my doorway. So I automatically knew it was on. My life was at stake. I knew what he came to do. And it was crazy. So I always kept mace on a keychain. You know, I grew up in a rough neighborhood. And I was able to fight him off with that when he came into my room. It was a Sunday morning. And I screamed and I fought and I sprayed him with mace. And finally he ran out. And everything was knocked over. I was bruised, but he didn't get to do it. Two times.
So let me ask you this question.
So was this guy ever caught? Did you ever see him again? Like, what ended up happening, being that you did a police report and nothing was ever done?
Right. So I knew where he used to hang out. And I knew, I'm trying to remember, I don't know if I gave the police the address I had at the time because I don't know if I memorized it. You know, this is back before you had, cell phones or texts. Right. So long ago. So I said to them, I do know where he hangs out on any given day. I want you to go find him and pick him up and arrest him. But first of all, when the cops came to my house, clearly something had gone down. There's mace, all the cops are choking, furniture knocked over, I'm crying, I'm bruised. And the first thing they said to me was, well, you sure this wasn't an ex-boyfriend?
Oh, no.
Wow.
Even if it was an ex-boyfriend, who cares? Obviously, something went down there.
So let me ask you this question, Cheryl. You know, that happened years ago. How has that played a part in your life on your mental and spiritual?
It didn't. This might not be the typical response, but because I beat him twice, I actually felt empowered. Okay. It could have went very differently, though.
Absolutely.
If it had happened. But I did feel empowered. I was proud that I was able to do that and defend myself. I did get counseling for it. But I think what impacted me the most was the fact that I had to live in fear knowing that if something happened again, I wasn't going to be listened to. When I go to work and I get harassed, I'm not going to be listened to. And I probably would say that was the most significant damage that it did, that I felt I had no repercussions. I had nobody to protect me. It was just no law, because the law is other men made up of people who do similar things, a lot of them.
Yeah,
so it's
Cheryl,
like
we're
a
gonna
club.
Stay on, because I want you on the whole time we're here, and we're gonna read some stats, and it says each rape costs approximately $151,423.
I don't even understand that.
Neither did I.
I don't even understand that statistic. What do you mean? So, you mean to actually investigate a rape? This is what it costs?
Exactly. So, which is crazy.
We spend money on nonsense all the time.
And you know what I'll do is, okay, so it says here 73% of sexual assaults are perpetrated by a non-stranger.
Which is what she said.
Exactly. This is rape is almost underreported crime completely. 63% of sexual assaults are not reported to police.
Well, because of what she's saying.
Yeah.
They might look at you like, you're a pretty girl. Are you sure? You sure you didn't provoke it? Because people that, even with your own family, your own friends, that might be, listen, I've never been in that predicament. I had one incident in my whole life that happened to me that a lot of people probably do or don't know. Well, a lot of people don't know. And it was, I was intoxicated. I was in the backseat of a car, and there was two girls in the front. There was a guy in the back, and the guy was one of the girls' boyfriends in the front. And I was intoxicated. There was another guy or two other people, and they put me to sit on his lap. And I was half asleep, and I had on a dress. And all I remember is I felt his hand inside my underwears. But I was so drunk that I didn't, and I was young. This was before I had kids. I never said anything because I was afraid that, A, my friend was going to be upset and accuse me of lying. B, maybe I didn't feel that, maybe I was dreaming, but it was something that I feel strongly that it happened.
Yeah.
But it's something that, that I felt like I was going to get a lot of backlash for, so I never said anything. Now, it's been years, me and the girl don't even talk anymore, so to me, it's nothing.
Now, continuing on, it says only 12% of child sexual abuse is reported to the authorities. Only 12%. 38% of rapists are a friend or acquaintance.
Exactly.
28% are actual intimate. 43% of rapes occur between 6 p.m. and midnight. 8% of rapes occur while the victim is at work. Now, now go into that because it says you also had a situation when you were at work, right, Cheryl?
Yeah. What my boss would sexually harass me, and then one day I finally said I'm not taking it anymore, and I was fired within a week.
Wow.
Just like that. I endured it for about a year, and I just said, you need to stop. You're an engaged man. You're my boss. What is wrong with you? And yeah, I was fired. And just like that. And that was pretty young also. It was like one of my first jobs out of high school, like 19. But it was actually a pretty good job. So I was upset about that, but it's, and any job I've been at where a man has been my supervisor, it's been similar. Similar to the point where I said I don't want to work for anyone anymore because I can't stand insecurity. There was really nothing you could do about it. There's a little more you can do about it now. But back then, if you reported it, you got fired for reporting it. So, you were damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And then it becomes, even if you weren't fired, but at the end of the day, it becomes an uncomfortable situation because, believe it or not, there are females that will look at you like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Why would you say something? What's the big deal? Because it's like we were saying earlier, what I might feel is comfortable and okay and normal, you might not feel is okay and comfortable and normal. Like, some people might say if I go to work with a low-cut blouse and a man looks at my breast or makes a comment on my breast, but why are you wearing that shirt for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what somebody might say is appropriate, somebody else might say it's not. So even if you didn't get fired, it still becomes an uncomfortable situation because not everybody knows. So now everybody's going to, kind of isolate themselves from you, or girls are going to look at you like, oh, she's so sensitive. We're not messing with her. It's a double-edged sword no matter what you do. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
Right.
But again,
no
how do you avoid that?
Point,
what do you wear? A garbage bag every day? You can't look nice. You can't feel good. You can't wear a nice, comfortable shirt or a tight-fitted dress because, you're provoking that type of attention.
We had a briefing in the military and the reserves about sexual misconduct, and and I'm going to say to men, you can be indirectly affected by rape, sexual misconduct, or sexual conversation. And the conversation was in my reserve unit saying that there was a military member whose daughter was raped. And there was a couple guys talking about it. How do you think he felt by those two military members talking about taking the conversation of rape in a comical way? And he's sitting there like, yo, my daughter was raped. It's not funny.
It's not. That's, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is a double-edged sword, and it's not something you should play with. We can read some of the stats again. Let's go from here.
It says 1 in 2 women, 50% are sexually abused in their lifetime. I'm sure.
That's 100.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's 100%.
I'm sure that there are some people that even I know that probably never talk about things that have happened to them. Like the story that I shared, I'm pretty sure not even, I think 100% not even my best friend knows that story. It's just something that happened, something that I carry with me, something that I was, embarrassed about because I was afraid. Yeah. But now it's like, it's over and done with. It's been years. But I'm sure that there's plenty of women that have had this happen to them that don't say anything. 79% of female rape victims report that the rape occurred before the age of 25, your case. 42.2% of female rape victims were first raped before the age of 18, your case. 86% of female rape victims know their abuser as an intimate partner, family member, or acquaintance. Again, your case and acquaintance. About 32,000 pregnancies are the result of rape each year. Wow.
You know, and as I was
That's
talking
crazy.
to Cheryl, I think a couple of days ago, and I said to her, after reading these stats and actually looking at it on paper, and then you say to yourself, like, I had to check myself, and I said to myself, "What am I a part of this sexual misconduct? Am I?" And I realized, well, I don't refer people that way anyway.
No, Alvin, you're the way that you are is not this.
Gotcha.
That's, I mean, for lack of a whole big, this is not you at all. You
but just
are,
the point that you're asking the question is great.
Yeah,
every man should ask himself that question.
You should take a minute sometimes and say, could I be borderline inappropriate sometimes?
It's like when I was at work, I happened to be talking to my coworker, and I told you, I said, I put my hand on her shoulder and I did like this, and I was like, I didn't mean to touch you, and she was like, why'd you jump? I said, I tell you, I tell my friends at work, I don't really. With the girls at work, I don't, because one, they're, especially the receptionist girls, they're about 25 years old. So there's a 15 to 16 year gap. But I don't have those conversations with them. I don't play with them like that. And I try not to be in that coffee clutch of conversation, because I don't want to be a part of it. You know, I don't want to be a part of, oh my God, I just don't do it. You know,
I think you have to kind of know your audience, you
Yes.
know, and understand the relationship you have with the person that you're maybe friendly flirting with.
But the thing is, I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, but the thing is, like, sometimes you could know people and then maybe make a comment that might make that person, I mean, there's not a rule book, you know, or there's not a manual that everybody comes with. Like, all right, we're friends, let me give you my manual, you give me yours, and this is... So I think on a human level, like, we just gotta know what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, talking about a rape, knowing that this man's daughter was raped, how do you just not even on a human level know that that's just inappropriate? Or talking about,
that's the thing. It has to be, men are the biggest, entity here that they're going to be the ones that makes it inappropriate.
I mean, listen, there's some statistics here about men that are raped and get involved in sexual misconduct by women. Women are sexually, what is it? My brain went blank.
You know, I was telling you earlier, just before we got here.
Harassment, sexual harassment. That's what I meant.
Within 24 hours, you know, we all have social media.
Yes.
And we all get DM these explicit stuff. And I was just telling Kim,
yes.
Within 24 hours ago, someone just DM'd me. And believe it or not, people think I check things as they come along. I try to, but because so many people DM me and email me, I don't check it all. I told her, I said, just within 24 hours, I opened up my DM, and this young lady's asking me, how often do I masturbate?
I mean, really good. Ladies, what kind of question is that?
And so I immediately responded, thank you, no thank you, I have someone do that for me.
Okay.
And I shut it down.
You served her with a good answer. Okay. Well, can we give a shout out to some people that are watching? So we have Inez, thank you for joining. Marlene, Janet is still on. Daniel Martinez, Jessica, thank you for watching. Elaine Polanco said, off the topic, but you are serving us some Selena and Jennifer Lopez vibes. Okay, thank you. Yvonne, thank you, Yvonne, my cousin. Evalise Elda joining us. My cousin said, stand tall and speak to be heard. That's right. I mean, listen, you're right. You need to stand up for yourself and speak up. I mean, it's easier said than done because, like she's saying, people don't get taken seriously. People, get a lot of backlash for it. In my situation, I thought I was going to lose a friend. It was going to be a big problem because, of course, that man was not going to say that he had his hands in my panties. But, it's true. We have to. We have to. And if we're gonna speak on it, we have to go full throttle. Like, you have to be 100% about it. Don't get discouraged, by what you think people are gonna say or what they're not gonna say. You gotta stand in life in general. We have to stand for what we believe in.
Listen, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Exactly. So shout out to everybody that's watching. Thank you. But, this is a very important topic because this is something that happens every day.
That's right.
24 hours a day. There is some form of sexual harassment, some form of sexual, any type of misbehavior in that category happens. Even when you're in the street, when they're catcalling you, sometimes a man could be nice, and then sometimes a man could be pretty disgusting with the things. I've had some pretty nasty things said about me. So am I not supposed to wear the tight-fitted dress when I'm going out because I have to be afraid that a man is going to be disrespectful in what he says? And again, I'm a person that, you could say not anything, that's not get crazy. But I'm not sensitive in that way, and sometimes men can be a little crazy.
I was talking with Cheryl the other evening.
Thank you, Jahaira. Preach.
And I said to her, we as men sometimes, and I say this a lot, we as men do not understand the physical, mental, emotional stress that we put women through. And I think,
in general,
in general,
and we were talking about just to go out on a date. There's a million things that go through a woman's mind because we don't know who we're out with.
Exactly.
You could freaking be a serial killer and want to put me in a suitcase in your basement. I'm good, boo. I'm good.
And I was telling Cheryl that just the other evening I was watching the movie.
Bugging here.
I know, right? I was watching the movie Hidden Figures. So it was yesterday we talked about it.
Have I seen
I
that
was
movie?
watching
I don't think
it.
so.
Well, it's about Taraji Henson, who's
yes, but I didn't see it, but I heard it. It was good.
Who she is an engineer, but in that movie, which was remarkable, going back to dating, because social media is set up the way it is, women have become much more accessible.
Good point.
So men can pick and choose women at a drop of a dime.
Which is why dating is so difficult, but that's another show.
And that's why, exactly. That's why it's a little more complicated for women. And also because it's so accessible, and women now on social media are so wearing less and less clothes, they think that everyone they go out with now is going to be that person that they're going out with. And
then you also have to know there's a lot, not in the sense of competition, but now you have all these women that are done, their bodies are done. So it becomes like, what are the expectations when you go on these dates? Am I expected to be this perfect doll? Am I expected to kiss you on the first date? Am I expected to have sex with you on the first date in order to be able to compete with these other women? I'm like, no, I'm good.
And with talking with Cheryl, I said one thing that women are not doing, and she said, well, Alvin, men have to hold men accountable, and I agree with you. We as men have to hold each other accountable. Listen, I'm not saying that I'm not perfect, and I'm not perfect, and I had situations where, I haven't nothing like this, but I'm not perfect. But I think when I was watching Hidden Figures, the point I'm trying to get is, in the movie, men, since it was such a long time ago, in the movie it was showing you how men were taught to court a woman. That
to watch that movie.
It was good when
Sebastian's got to watch this
when
movie.
she got engaged, when he went to marry her, because she was a widow and she had 3 children. It was the mother, the kids, and he had the box at the dining table, and I got a little choked up. but what I'm saying is, the movie showed how men used to court women, and it was crazy because he actually asked her. He says, we've been going out for a while now. Is it okay if I can kiss you? So
what? Nobody asks nowadays. They just take it. Man.
But the conversation I had with Cheryl was, also women on the other end have to command and demand that respect, because I think
that's true.
It has been so accessible to us as men. Women are so accessible now to us, especially via social media. I keep saying, this thing, you can be connected. You don't realize that we are connected to everyone in the world through this, whether it's indirectly or directly, we are connected. And because it's so easy, I can go on hotdates.com, POF.com, Black Planet, whatever it is. You can, and
Right.
and going back, to the Cheryl situation, is my point is saying
we were talking about how men might just say, "Would you like to come over for dinner?"
exactly.
And I would never do
exactly.
that.
So
I
when
would
that
think a lot
was
of
the
women
point.
wouldn't
When
do
you
that.
go on a date with somebody, how do you know? Because you
Right.
can be talking to somebody on the phone, you can be FaceTiming, you can be, communicating via text, however it is that you guys are communicating, but you don't really know that person until you're out on that date.
Right.
You don't know what that person's intentions are. You might be like, wow, this is a great guy. My mom always makes me laugh. She's like, when I do go on dates, or even when I go out with friends, she's like, I need a phone number. And I'm like, what? I'm a grown woman. Like, what you mean you need a phone number? She's like, no, I need a phone number. God forbid anything happens to you. I need a phone number to be able to communicate. Or I need to know.
Send a text from their phone.
Exactly. I need to know, okay, Mom, I went out with Alvin. We're going to, have dinner in such and such place. And I get annoyed sometimes because I'm like, I'm grown. I have 2 kids. Like, I don't. But I get her point because we don't know what their intentions are. We could go out with this guy and think that he's a great guy, and at the end of the night, he could make a left turn and down an alley, and it's a wrap. You know what I mean?
And even for me, I haven't, where my parents, sometimes I haven't seen my sister Claire for a long time. They're like, Alvin, have you seen your sister? Or I haven't seen even my brother, he's married. Have you seen your brother? Even with me, sometimes they don't see me. One day, I was, I spent last weekend, and I haven't seen them because they had a guest at the house, and we were passing each other. They text me like, "Where are you?"
I'm right here.
I'm like, they haven't seen me. But hold on one second, Cheryl. So everyone who's just tuning in, if you notice that me and Kim are wearing the Me Too movement shirt. We have on the phone Miss Cheryl Marie. She's calling from Jersey. She's supposed to be here tonight, but she could not be here because of traffic. She was caught in so much traffic, so we wanted her to stay where she was. So real quickly,
accidents from the weather, yeah. It's horrible.
So I'm gonna read exactly what she put on her social media for me to go and make the shirt. I have a shirt for her, and she had put I think week before last, and it says, "Join the Me Too movement. I've been both sexually harassed and assaulted, including rape. I've lost jobs because I refuse to sleep with my boss, as well as my sense of safety, security, among many other things, because of men who abuse their power. I'm not embarrassed, not ashamed to share it, and neither should any of you. One of the earlier times in my life, at just 16 years old, that I was sexually assaulted was by a stalker who broke into my home while I was asleep. When I called the police to the scene, I wasn't taken seriously. By then, even though the mace still lingered in the air, choking the officers in my house, I was abused and everything, including furniture, was knocked over my room. I was lucky though. 110 pounds, I managed to fight him off that time. In future incidents, I wasn't so lucky. Later, I found out the report I filed was also, they took that one and
Never filed.
I'm sorry, and no one looked for him, even though I told them who he was. Going forward, I felt I wouldn't be taken seriously again. So numerous other unrelated incidents followed that just through one of my own, and they were unreported. However, I am proud. I've endured, thrived, and can speak on it now. That's the point. The post. Speak out and fight and say this will not happen anymore. If all the women who has ever been sexually harassed or sexually assaulted wrote "Me Too" as a status, we might give people a sense of magnitude of the problem. Let's love and support each other, ladies. And guys, we need your help to make this unacceptable among other males. We can't do it alone. Free feel the copy and post this and share it as well. So we have Miss Cheryl Marie on the phone. Me and Kim, we're in awareness. So we have the black shirt with the white letters. I made a shirt for you, Cheryl. I'll give that shirt for you next week. That was a surprise to you.
And it's good that you read that, because in sitting here reading this, you are an inspiration, because it says here 33% of women who are raped contemplate suicide, 13% of women who are raped attempt suicide. approximately 70% of rape or sexual assault victims experience moderate to severe distress, a larger percentage than for any other violent crime. So you are an exception to that, because look at where you are. Even though this was a tragic experience, this was something that obviously affected you, but you've persevered, you've come out of it. You know, you're, like you said, you feel empowered, and you're here sharing in this movement. Me too. Like, if, you know, telling everybody that it's okay, that it's not okay what happened to you, but it's okay to speak out. It's okay, even if people are going to give you backlash, and if you lose that job, it's okay, because it's the right thing to do. So, you know, I have to commend you. I think, you know, you're super awesome, and I wish I would have been able to meet you, but we'll meet again. I'll see you. You're not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. We'll see each other.
Well, the great news is, you know, because we spoke, and I think, you know, we're going to talk about this again next week, about, you know, what happens after. You know,
right, exactly.
How do you,
because it just doesn't stop there. It's not like, okay, this happened, it's over.
Because there's the emotional, and people don't realize it's the emotional
embarrassment,
the emotional stress after the rape. Because once you're raped, okay, if something happens to you, you're healed. But things that people don't understand is the emotional part that lingers.
Alvin, this says 94% of women who are raped experience post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms during the first 2 weeks following the rape. 30% of women report PTSD symptoms 9 months after the rape. That's crazy.
Yeah. You know, so next week, I mean, the good thing is hopefully, you know, Cheryl Marie says
I won't be here, but I'm going to tune in. I'm going to watch.
She will clear her schedule, and she'll get her Me Too shirt next week. But
Yay.
you know, but
Definitely.
I you know, I thank you just for sharing your story.
Yes.
You know, I guess I spoke to you know, via text, and I said, you know, it's a pleasure to connect with you, and you know, like I said, it's been a while, because you know, I think when we spoke last time, she was driving a Mercedes. Now she's finally driving the BMW.
Yeah, throw that in there.
Yeah,
throw it in there.
That was 2 years ago.
No, but like I said, you know, it's crazy, because Cheryl and I know the same people, have been in the same place at the same time, but we've never actually spoke.
Right. It's crazy.
You know, but you know,
and look, she's so open about her life and everything that's going on. Like, that to me is so dope.
You know, it is, and I think that it's we can learn from this, and it's about us once again. It's this awareness. It's the Me Too awareness.
Of course, and if we can inspire one person to speak out, then I feel like we've accomplished something.
Like I always, you know, I asked someone this the other day. I said, "How do you eat an elephant?"
What?
And they said, "Well, what?"
Right, like I
you
just said.
You said what? One bite at a time. How do you change the world? With one act of random kindness at a time.
Alvin, you should make a T-shirt that says that. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
You know, so you know.
I've never heard that one.
I've never heard it. Only Alvin.
Listen,
You about to patent that? Go ahead, make a T-shirt.
I'm about to patent that too. If you tune in late, you're live with Alvin After Dark. And if you don't know what the show is about, we discuss entertainment, fashion, health, relationship, trending topics.
This was a serious one.
This is definitely a serious topic. We also, I've created a platform for all entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to market yourself, you want to come up here and chop it up and talk, some meat and potatoes, you can. And you know, I want to give a big shout out to the people who, I'm not going to say their names, but the few people who have inboxed me about their personal rape experience. I shout you out. And to all the people who always ask me, you know, they say, well, how can I be on your show? I have an open door policy. You can always come up here.
He's a principal. You have an open door policy?
I have an open door policy. You can come up here. You can talk about some stuff, whatever, you know, issues you have or whatever you want to talk about. If I feel something we can talk about, let's talk about it.
If you have any ideas too,
if you have
about
ideas,
topics for the show that you want to hear about,
please.
Definitely inbox me or Alvin and we'll talk about it.
I'm very open to a constructive criticism. Like I told Cheryl Marie when I spoke to her, I said I'm very open to constructive criticism.
He is.
I really am. I know even though I do have a big ego, but I do
no,
like.
You don't. No.
I do. I'm open to constructive criticism.
Nah, but he's good. He's good. He does. He's got a respectful ego.
I do. I really do. And I just can't. Once again, I after reading the stats about what rape is and how it happens, like I said, my Aunt Charlotte, she's watching. I saw she was watching. Shout out to her. I have a family, a lot of women in my family. So like, on my dad's side, a lot of my cousins who are females, and sometimes I think about, after reading that, have my nieces gone through this? Have my cousins gone through this? Our job is to protect, our women. So, and that's a part of the conversation me and Cheryl Marie had about men need to hold each other accountable. So for you guys who have daughters who say, oh, hey, if someone does something to my daughter, I'm gonna break their face. Well, it's about awareness.
It's about anybody's daughter.
Yeah, it's about everyone's daughter. It's about the awareness and knowing what to do, what not to do, and things like that. But Cheryl, we got about 5 minutes. You're still hanging out with us, but before we leave, Cheryl, do you want to say anything to the viewers and listeners before we go?
I think one of the biggest messages I want to get across. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback, but hopefully I'll get through this, is I don't want women to feel ashamed, and I don't want them to not speak up, and I don't want them to think it's their fault, and I don't want them to think there's nothing they could do about it. I mean, to me, it's something to be proud of, to have gotten through and endured, and it's not that you want it to happen, but it makes you a more evolved, intelligent, especially emotionally intelligent person, because you got through something other people can't. You have a level of empathy that, other people don't have. There are positive things to be gained, and ways to help other people by speaking about it, things, just a lot of positivity that you can make come out of it. And I don't want anyone to think that it makes them less than or dirty in any way, and if you feel that way, go get help. There's nothing wrong with it. We have all experienced something, some worse than others, but if somebody's still dealing with the PTSD or somebody still, maybe they just haven't told anyone. I would hope somebody listening tonight would tell even their mom or their best friend that, hey, you know what? I never told anybody this, but let me get it out. Just want to reach people in a positive way. And like you said, if it could help one person, it's nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about at all.
Well, you helped me tonight because I spoke about that incident that happened to me that like I said, I don't think anybody knows about. So thank you. I was comfortable enough to speak about it. So
that's great. So today was your first time speaking of that.
Yes. Well, in this type of forum, absolutely. So thank you.
Well, Kim, anything for the people before we leave?
As always, a pleasure to be here. This topic was very important, especially since I do have a daughter. I have a daughter and a son, so I'm at both ends of the spectrum. I'm trying to raise a man, a good man, and I'm trying to, raise a woman and teach her, what's correct and what's not. So, to think that this happened to you at that age, it breaks my heart because, like I said, I do have a daughter that age. So, shout out to you, to Alvin, always, having me have a great time. I'll be back probably in 2 weeks. So, but thank you. Thank you very much. And shout out to everybody that watched, my Uncle Frank that's here that I always forget to say hi to him. Love you. And everybody that, gave us some feedback. Please share, comment. We always appreciate everything. And that is all.
And once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And once again, you're watching Alvin After Dark, which is brought to you by BMW Freeport. You can catch me at Alvin Peters 76 on Instagram and Alvin Peters on Facebook. We're here every single Tuesday night at 11 p.m. live. Once again, if you need me to host an event for you, I do host events. You definitely do. We host events. And before we go, I got, once again, here is the shirt. It's the Me Too movement
so I have to
shirt.
Get up?
You don't have to get no more too. Cheryl, I have your shirt as well.
Hold that for me. I want that.
Yeah, you got one.
It's comfortable. You got one. But you've got to show the back.
Oh, yeah, the back. It says AP7. AP7 is not my initials, it means something else. But I have, I guess this is a soft introduction to my new t-shirt line. I'll be coming out with a t-shirt line and novelty t-shirts with the crazy sayings on it and some crazy stuff. So
I want to do a crazy saying.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
I want a Kim shirt.
Definitely got it. And sure, we're going to give you a call once we get in the car. We're going to give you a call once we get in the car. But remember, everyone, the good Lord don't put you through nothing you can't handle. It's all how you handle it. I want to thank everyone who watched us this evening and keep talking about us. Alvin After Dark. Share our page on your page. And once again, if you know someone that wants to promote the entrepreneurs that want to come up here and chop it with me, please do. And a word from our sponsor. Have a good night. And thank you for tuning in. Peace out.
Night.
Hydration is key. And when it comes to body water, here's why. It has inositol in it, which is good for your brain. Has niacinamide in it, which is excellent for your circulation. And just the water itself is excellent for your internal organs and your joints. It has 7 grams of carbs, which is excellent for your energy source while you're working out. And it has each and every B vitamin that you need to remain energetic. Body Aqua. Be bold, be brave, and be only daring to yourself.